It was the comedic comeback broadcast always destined to unfurl maximum shockwaves across the cultural zeitgeist. Dave Chappelle, comedy's reigning iconoclastic provocateur, returning to his exclusive Netflix platform after a self-imposed hiatus with a new convulsively uninhibited stand-up salvo squarely in his crosshairs. But when the special central target revealed itself as none other than Meghan Markle, the embattled Duchess of Sussex, the contours of Chappelle's rematerialization as an indomitable button pusher achieved their ultimate catharsis. From the opening moments of the set's muscular, profanity-studded overture, it became immediately evident that the comedian had emerged reinvigorated from his subterranean transit, his acerbic worldview and compulsion to detonate calcified societal orthodoxies not only undimmed but sharpened to scalpel-like incisiveness. What better a subject for such an oracular voice of vigorous deconstruction than the internationally polarizing persona of Meghan, a human Rorschach test of identities, advocacies, prerogatives and grievances made globally ubiquitous through a perpetual state of embattlement. So let me get this straight, this little mutt of a Hollywood actress with the resting smug Muppet face who clearly spent her youths chasing the bottom dregs of balding producers' casty couches wherever the cameras were flashing is now trying to present as the persecuted mother of all modern oppression iconography because one dusty royal cult of inbred albinos didn't unfurl the red carpet wide enough for her delusional American, "Do you know who I am?" routine. Chappelle mused in scene-setting broadsides that felt destined to become cultural inflection points. With such an explosive salvo lobbed from the very outset, the gloves were decisively off as the comedy savant careened into a demolishing of every hypocritical falsehood and aggrieved inconsistency comprising the battle-hardened mythology surrounding Markle's royal persecution saga. In a career defined by fearlessly peppering audiences with the most inflammable socio-cultural bombshells, this evisceration of the Duchess was shaping into a masterclass of polemic detonation. Like, what's even the angle here? That this one-dimensional little Beehive-assed bird fell for the sad little heir's desperate, "Oh wow, my first ethnic lay," who actually swallows talk only to get the first slap of reality once those stingy Buckingham shills weren't about to welcome a blacktress from Deal or No Deal with open coffers. That she's the first aging Hollywood striver in human history to get a lil gratuitous side-eye from those uptight European palaces completely unprepared to handle a black woman's majestic resilience, the comedian drawled, each torrent somehow escalating in withering intensity. For every facet of the Duchess's loudly protested tribulations against an insular palace apparatus ill-equipped to accommodate her singular empowerments, Chappelle administered an increasingly mordant dismantling of perceived pretenses. From accusations that Meghan had simply exposed the institutional bigotry's hardwiring British aristocratic privilege to the broader agita encasing her contested identities as a black woman and racial justice leader, the comic spared no flank from his patented form of rhetorical carpet bombing. Okay, so this tragic little Mandingo Muppet, who, let's be honest, looks like she could have been carved straight out of LeVar Burton's upper thigh with them high cheekbone and banana grill cravings, gets sad Oprah teary talking about all the profound trauma and overt racism her dark-skinned progeny had to endure getting denied a certain title only to turn around and name the little ankle muncher shit like Archie, after some crust old white mascot waving his willy through a Sugar Crisps commercial. How's that supposed to play for all the colored grievance cosplayers fighting the good fight for police shooting reparations and defunding the Klan cookouts? With the frequency of audio censors attempting to bleep out Chappelle's increasingly X-rated tirades steadily escalating in futility, the comedian's roasting flowed with liquid incandescence and almost rapturous self-possession. Each new round of gasoline poured directly atop the cultural bonfire represented yet another delectable reprisal from societal forces attempting to restrain his unvarnished license to provoke and instigate. See, I'm just confused here. Is our sis of the racial struggle out here repping for all the dark-skinned women getting tennis racketed by their NBA baby daddies while busting they ass double shift at the Waffle House? Or is she more that fresh-off-the-boat untreated cluster B type who thinks the colonial peak friends really did shit on her soul by not adorning the spare air with a marquee title deserving of some Beverly Hills baby psychics Kabbalah vision boards? Hardly even pausing to bask in the rapturous howls of half-mortified, half-delighted audiences, Chappelle elevated the rhetorical demolition into realms of brutality that defied traditional comedy canons. From scathing impressions of a heavily pantomimed Meghan being subjected to endless microaggressions, "Oh Duchess, how ghastly, you simply must let the chambermaids exfoliate away those rough calluses around your knuckles before attending tonight's fete," to dissertations on whether her myriad, flailing-armed spirit fingers and nappy wool garden decorations were intentional attempts to subvert antiquated notions of aristocratic decorum, the annihilations transcended into audacious new strata. This uppity lil bougie shrimp was out here really trying to turn eating crudite on camera into a protest against institutional oppression. Like Yo Mutta wouldn't have ended up crowned Miss Venezuela if half the barrios hadn't been burning down schools for voting districts. Have some self-awareness and gratitude you were able to gentrify into that frilly-ass white folks convention without getting profiled into detainment first. Even the most casual attempts by the comedian to pivot and compartmentalize drew inextricably back to the Markle takedown with horrifying force. What commenced as ostensibly impartial macro-level assessments on society's broader cultural pathologies towards myth-making and commodified outrage inevitability caved back into more broadsides against the purported exploitation of identity totems by the polarizing Duchess. Think about it, this raggedy lil chick from Cali's entire come-up was built on being just exotic-looking enough to embody every Caucasian's racial guilt and exoticized curiosity without being some thirsty-ass Somali import wife they're too chicken shit to commit. Like just enough of a delicate balance to sell them on the facade of sticking their chubby Mayo privilege deep in the underserved POC other without having to dip their frank in anything too authentically cocoa or musky, the comedian continued assailing. They wanna watch her kooky lil, mixed babies lope around on grasslands and imagine them as some bastard manifestos of humanitarian resilience before getting tucked back in with a warm glass of white feminism and NPR membership drive.